Okay, so quite a few San Antonio Spurs fans were upset with this article, but I don't think anyone actually listened to this podcast at all, honestly.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so as you guys know, or maybe you don't know this, there's been quite a few people out there trying to make headlines when it comes to Victor Wembanyama. The San Antonio Spurs are losing. Obviously, he's on a losing team. They're not a good team. I mean, that's obvious. He's the number one pick. You go to a bad team. That's obvious. I don't know why this isn't obvious, but it's obvious to us. But there's been ESPN, FS1, a lot of talking heads out there saying, when is Victor Wembanyama going to leave San Antonio? Now, the reason why this title and this article upset a lot of Spurs fans, mainly on Twitter, is because it's a local one, right? It's a local San Antonio Spurs news post. They look so happy. But yeah, it's a local news post, so people are like, "Oh my God, you betrayed us." But obviously, no one actually listened to it. So this is called, or their podcast is Sneakers and Cleats. So go watch them if you can. Check out their stuff if you find any of this interesting. I'm gonna play a snippet, just some of it, but I just think that people kind of got the wrong idea. So this is definitely a conversation, but I think the way that they frame the conversation is fine. So let's go ahead and play through it and listen to what they have to say. Whoa, wait, before we do that, if you guys want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description. Get yourself some merch, man. So clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description. All right, let's take a look. I lost it already. Here it is. Oh.
I think 3 years competing for a championship is realistic.
Yeah, I'd agree. And again, I'm with everybody on, here locally of, the Spurs are doing their own thing, like them accelerating because of external pressure, or he might go somewhere else. That's kind of silly, I think.
So you can already tell that they're kind of framing it as in, it's a spicy title nonetheless. I put spicy titles on my stuff too, but it's a lot of people reacting without actually watching. Yeah, they're framing it in the sense of other people are saying this, and yeah, I'm not with it.
And they'll have the right pieces.
What makes it silly? Like why if the kid wants to win?
Sure, and they'll find the right people, because I think it's silly just because we don't know the nature of Wemby and Coach Pop's relationship. We only see what we see whenever they see him talking to him on the bench during a game or something like that, but I'm sure the depth of it, they've learned about each other for over 82 games this season. Now when they spend a whole off season together and really get to know each other and okay, yeah, I've seen you play for a season. Now we can kind of talk more of what fits, what doesn't, how do you want to play, who do you want to play with.
I agree with that. I think that's completely true. It's so. I've said this before. I think people have gotten so accustomed to superstars just leaving from team to team to team. And we're not really used to a lot of stars sticking around, right? I mean, people can bring up Dame Lillard if they want. I think Jokic sticking around. But people are really hung up on what happened with LeBron, what happened with KD, what happened with Kawhi Leonard. But very few times is it because you're losing this early in your career. I'll be real with you. This might be a hot take. You guys might not like this, okay? But if Wembanyama, everything that I've known about him over the last few years, right? If he came to San Antonio on a bad team, obviously we're going to be a bad team. That's how we got him. If he comes to this team and after 60 games in his career, he come out of it saying, I want out, I don't think that this is the guy that I thought we were getting. Like, seriously, if he was as wishy-washy as a lot of these fans try to make him out to be, a lot of these talking heads from ESPN try to make him out to be, I don't think that he will be the same player, right? If he was that type. It takes immense patience for him to get his body to the degree that he got it to. It takes immense patience for him to learn the way that he learns and takes time with his body, takes time with himself. he just wouldn't be the star that I thought he was. And if he wanted out that quickly, just being honest, I wouldn't really want him on the team if he was that type of character. I feel like this is very insulting when these talking heads do this, because, and like they're saying, like, you don't know or Popovich and Wemby's relationship. We don't know these things. We're just, people are just speculating. I think it's very, and people don't see it this way. They don't see it as you being disrespectful by saying that. But I'm sorry, man. If you think that he's going to leave after a season or two, I think that that's absolutely insane. The Spurs got him for quite a bit of time. All right, he's nowhere near his prime. It's not like we have a prime Wemby and we're losing the way we're losing. No, dude. We got plenty of time. It takes time. He knows the process. They're discussing it with him. And I love how they're framing it where it's like, hey, once the offseason hits, they're going to talk to their superstar. Who do you like playing with? Who do you not like playing with? He's going to have some say-so in that, all right? The Spurs aren't going to just, we're the dictators and you just follow suit, Wemby. No, of course not. It's going to be a collaborative effort. And Wemby is a great leader, mind you. I know it's crazy to think like the 20-year-old is going to have any say-so in the franchise. I don't think he should run it like Giannis or run it like LeBron with his teams. But I will say that I think that the Spurs are going to listen to him wholeheartedly on what he wants, what he needs going forward. And the reason why I think that is because in France, he went to a team and he even said himself, I was in charge of everything. And he helped make a championship team. So I think with the Spurs, very competent franchise, and he's going to have a say-so at some degree.
I think all those conversations kind of will be had after.
But you're making the assumption that that'll be a positive experience.
I think it will be, just because of everything that Pop has said. Wemby is mature way beyond his years and everything, and that's something that these guys on the current roster are realizing. And I think they're coming around to the idea of, hey, this is the guy, and either we're getting on this train or we're not.
And they've been like that for a while, mind you. I feel like the first 2 weeks or first few weeks, the Spurs weren't necessarily, all in. I mean, it wasn't like a screw this guy, it's our team. I don't think it was anything like that. I think it was just a matter of getting accustomed to things. He was asking the team a lot of questions. I mean, he was asking Don Barlow questions about his game and how the NBA works and everything. So I think it was just a natural transition, and his teammates didn't want to just put too much on him. But as the season has went on, it's blatantly obvious that it's his team, and the Spurs have completely bought into it's Wemby or bust. You love to see that.
I think the problem with this entire season for the Spurs stemmed from that first press conference that Pop had, where he said that winning is important this year. Because I think he led all of us.
I think that's a. I'll let him finish. Hold on.
Down the wrong path to think what the expectations were going to be.
That they were going to be.
That they were going to be competitive.
Right.
And so when you go through that 18, 19-game losing streak at the beginning of the season, and your experiment with Jeremy Shohan fails completely, with him at the point guard, like, the entire expectation of your roster goes down the tubes immediately. When we were coming into this thinking, oh, maybe you're going to try and win. You start out 3-2 with 2 wins over the Suns in Phoenix.
Right.
And then you go on this huge losing streak. Everything goes down the tubes, and everybody's expectations come off the rails. And
so when Popovich said that, I felt like a lot of people ran with it. I don't want to say they ran with it literally or anything. It just felt like they took that sound bit and it just made its way around every circle, and people just wanted to use that against Popovich every chance that they got, right? But I interpreted when he said that this season is about learning how to win, that's what it is. It's learning how to win. Wins are important. And he felt like we were at that step where it's all about attempting to win, learning how to win. And I feel like this season, I know this is crazy. Looking at the record, people say, "What are you talking about?" But if you actually watch the games and you paid attention to how the Spurs have been finishing games, how they've gone about the second half in games, the adjustments that they made, I definitely think that they're on the verge of knowing how to win. And they've come away with, I know very few, but a few wins where it's like, whoa, that was pretty impressive, right? That things kind of looked in control that we weren't necessarily used to with this young team. So I do think that they're learning how to win. But even if, let's just say Popovich literally meant, oh, we're going to win 60 games this season, what is wrong with the season going along and you realizing that, hey, this team is further behind than I thought they were, so we got to go back down to the basics? What's wrong with that? It's okay. Like, I think this is the thing that kind of frustrates me too. It's okay to be wrong about things. So even if I just interpret it exactly how everyone else interpreted it, or a lot of Spurs fans interpreted it, there's nothing wrong with taking a back seat or taking a step back and saying, oh, wait a minute, we're not at that point yet. I mean, what would you prefer? I just keep pretending that we're going to get this train back on the railroads and we're going to make the playoffs? Like, I don't know what you would be expecting at that point. And I understand people had expectations way too high, mind you. I remember I was making videos blatantly saying I don't think the Spurs are going to make the play-in. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't think that they would be like this bad as far as their record, but I did say they're not going to make the play-in, and there were plenty of people saying, what are you talking about? They can make the play-in? What do you mean? You got Wemby now. And I'm like, no, just because you have Wemby doesn't mean that you're automatically a playoff team, play-in team, none of that. I don't necessarily think that they'll be at that point. You're still evaluating the team, and you got to see who fits with Wemby. We didn't even know Wemby's game at that point. It was just there was no way they would be a play-in team. But anyways, look, that's all. I won't listen to much more of it. But if you guys want to check them out, like I said, Sneakers and Cleats, go check it out and see if you enjoy it. But I don't know. I feel like that expectation was just a little too high. But anyways, I'll get with you guys later, man. Until next time, bye.